Hey everyone, it's Matt, aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to be taking a look at the FPS boost for Fallout 4 on the Xbox Series X and S, but we're also going to be comparing it to a new mod that actually unlocks the FPS to 60 frames per second and caps it there, and then also bumps up the quality of the game, so you might get closer to 4K if you're playing on a 4K television or monitor. So we're going to take a look at 3 different scenarios, see how that stacks up, and then see if it's something you're really interested in using as opposed to just using the FPS boost that you can just toggle on before you jump into the game, then you don't have to worry about any mod. And if you like these types of videos, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's take a look at the FPS boost and this mod and see how it stacks up. So if you've been following the channel, you're pretty familiar with the FPS boost for Fallout 4 and probably Skyrim as well, because when Bethesda got bought by Microsoft, there was a lot of news surrounding all of the Bethesda games, and like the FPS boost was one of the big topics for most of them. Fallout 4 was a benefactor of this, and I actually thought the FPS boost worked pretty well for Fallout 4. But now there's a new mod out that claims to bring it up to the level of Ultra PC specs. So what's the big difference? At first, you'll notice some hitchiness here or there, like when you go into VATS. So when it's on, you can see there's just a slight jitter when you pop into VATS, for example. And this doesn't really happen with the FPS boost. It's pretty smooth throughout, and that's why I like it the most. In Todd Howard's words, it just works.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
Things like shadow, draw distance, and resolution are things that are affected, but would you trade the resolution for the performance? I don't really mind if I'm not playing it at 4K. It does look great at 4K, but if I were to pick one or the other, I'd probably just do the smooth frame rate throughout. But for this first environment, I thought I'd pick an inside level, that way you guys can see how soft it looks in comparison to what we're going to look at next, is with the mod and seemingly showing 4K and a lot sharper image. Now, while my capture card cannot capture 4K, you can still see the difference in the quality. You can see the shine on the armor and the walls because it was raining, and it looks really good. Now, when you're inside in a level like this, you do notice things are just a little bit sharper, but is it really going to break your game? Is it going to break your immersion? Probably not. Now, if you go from playing on like a PC monitor to like a TV, like a bigger TV, then you're going to notice the softness in the image, things like the draw distance that is not there with just the FPS boost enabled versus a mod. Moving on to the scenario of playing on the DLC, now I think the FPS boost looks totally fine on Far Harbor, but with the mod, it probably looks even better and it looks a lot sharper, things pop a lot more, and again, you're getting close to that 4K resolution that the game should be running, but you will start to see things like little jitters and hitches, especially with this Ultra Settings Plus, because it does push it past the PC Ultra Settings. And that is another mod that you can download, which is just the PC Ultra Settings, which I will have those two linked down below. But for this video, I had the Ultra Settings Plus on. And I think visually, this looks great. Now, again, when you go back and look at it on the FPS boost, it doesn't have a big difference, but you do see the softness more than anything else. And when you're looking at things like a wall, it really doesn't pop out too much. Characters still look plenty fine, and I just turned the brightness up in this clip right here. To round this out is scenario number 3 with the FPS boost off and the 60 FPS Ultra Settings Plus on. There's a little bit of a performance decrease when there's stuff like status effects going on, and it just kind of hitches a little bit more than anything the FPS boost would do. And this is generally what I expect when I install something that claims to unlock the FPS or boost it to 60. Going back to just having the FPS boost on, you see that that is really not the case at all. When there's status effects going on, the game does not visually like hitch or anything. It might just depend on your load order and what kind of monitor you're playing on at the end of the day, but the FPS boost for me has always been pretty solid for Fallout 4. And Skyrim is another thing entirely, but for Fallout 4, I choose the FPS boost. So what do you choose? So hopefully that was helpful for everyone, comparing the two, just seeing which is which and what the big difference is between the two. I haven't tried the 60 FPS mod with other performance mods, nor do I own a PC and can really speak on what PC Ultra settings looks like. I'm just going based off of what the mod is called. So thank you so much for watching. If you do have experience with either of those two things, definitely put those down in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.